Let's go over your test. You guys just finished test 5, correct?
Correct.
Good, okay. So if you need to slow me down, raise your hand. Otherwise, we've got 2 labs, and so we're going to try to press through. For defining the terms, the covalent bond, you should have said something about a bond with shared electrons. For atomic radius, something about from the nucleus to the valence electrons. So the distance. Electronegativity is how strongly an atom attracts electrons in a covalent bond, or something about how strongly an atom attracts electrons. Polar covalent bond is unequal shared electrons, something about that, and you could have said that, no, that you'd had, so just on the bond, all you had to say was uneven sharing of electrons, something about that. Purely covalent bond, equally shared electrons, or even sharing of the electrons. Okay, number 2, what is the chemical formula for the element nitrogen? You had to have N2. N2. Okay. Number 3, which of the following atoms is or are larger than an atom of calcium? And you were to look at the periodic chart to figure this out. The answers would be Rb and Cs. Okay? Because remember, the atomic radius decreased this way and this way, so you would use that to figure that out. Number 4, put the following atoms in order of their electronegativity from the lowest to the highest. And once again, remember, electronegativity increased this way and this way. And so the answer would be Tl, comma S, comma Cl, comma F. Okay? In that order. Number 5, a student dissolves alcohol in distilled water. In another container, he dissolves calcium chloride in distilled water. Will either of the solutions conduct electricity? Yes, and if so, which one? It will be the calcium chloride because that's an ionic compound, so it'll make ions and therefore it can conduct electricity. Number 6, in the following molecules, the smaller gray balls represent carbon atoms, the white balls, hydrogen atoms, the darker gray balls, oxygen atoms, and the large gray balls, sodium ion. Which molecule would work like soap? And that would be B. B has an ionic end and a covalent end. Number 7, the electronegativity of phosphorus is 2.1, the electronegativity of bromine is 2.8, and the electronegativity of beryllium is 2.1. Which of the following pairs make a purely covalent compound? That would be B, because phosphorus is 2.1 and the beryllium is 2.1, and D, which is bromine to bromine, and so they would be even, so evenly shared. So it would be B like boy and D like dog. Number 8, for the molecule AsBr3, determine its Lewis structure, its shape, and whether or not the molecule is polar. And so for number 8, you would have had this with 3 of these. And we're supposed to be drawing the Lewis, Okay, I'm doing the structure that's actually showing its geometry. Whoops. There we go. And so then you should have said pyramidal, and yes, it's polar. Okay?
Do we have to do the 3-dimensional one?
No. So if you didn't, don't worry about it, because it does say the Lewis structure, so I'm just being safe. Yes, Andrew?
I forgot to put I put the pyramid over.
What'd you forget to put, honey? The shape?
Yeah.
Right now, I'll go down and write the rest of them, what shape they are. Right now. Okay. If anybody else forgot to do all 3 answers for each question, go do them now. If you have to go out in the hall, go out in the hall. Okay? Because each of those counts as a whole answer. That's how they've got them divided up. All right? The next one is CF4. And so with that one, it's going to be a tetrahedron, and it's going to have the carbon in the middle. And if I did the 3D one, it would be like this. And it's going to have the fluorine on the outside edges, and each of the fluorines has 6 dots around them. Okay? I'm not going to keep going, but that's what it would look like with the dots around it. And that's a tetrahedral. That is purely or nonpolar, depending on how you wanted to say it. Yes, sir?
I got the wording for tetrahedral or tetrahedron and trigonal and stuff, and I said tetragonal. Is that okay?
That's just a spelling error. Fix it. Okay. Okay, then we get to GeO2, and so that one is actually looks a lot like carbon dioxide, doesn't it? That's a linear molecule. These had to have two pairs around them on the outside edges. It doesn't matter where you put the two pairs, okay? And then you should have said linear, and you should have said that that is definitely a purely covalent or a non-polar molecule, just like the CF4 was, which would be carbon tetrafluoride, right? Okay, and then we're up to number 11. And on number 11, we had Se, but this one is in group 6, like oxygen. So you ended up with the chlorine being over here. And so that is a bent molecule, and that is a polar molecule. In the other books, he'd asked you for all these angles, too. Yes, Aaron?
I drew the Lewis structure of that in linear, but I said it was bent. Does that matter?
That's fine. That's fine. It should have been drawn this way, but, well, hang on a sec. Let me see.
I drew mine like
It might matter in this one, so hang on just a sec. Hang on. Because this is the chapter for the geometry. Hang on. Yes, thank you. I think you're going to have to take off 3 for that one, because this is where we're doing. Did you do it bent?
I went like this.
Yeah, that's fine. You did show it bent. See, you didn't have to show all the 3D stuff, but that's a bent molecule, not a linear. You said it was bent. Why don't you just draw it correctly? You knew it was to draw it correctly. You said it was bent there. Yes?
I didn't remember if you could or couldn't write it either way, so I wrote it both ways. Is that
I'll just erase the one that's not bent.
Wait, so if you drew the actual Lewis structure with the chlorine on either side of the selenium, but you wrote it as bent, you take points off for the Lewis structure? I thought you could draw the Lewis structure anyway.
Yeah. That's a really good point. See, I'm not happy with how he's graded this test at all, because he's not only got that, he's got little arrows on it to show where the electronegativity is in the solutions. I don't know if you looked at that. You're right, because the Lewis structure itself, you're right, Vesper is where you have to draw all that stuff. Don't take off. Don't take off. Okay? Now, that means we have to politely ask him to change the way he asks these test questions, because he shouldn't be asking for the Lewis structure with the answers he has. He should be asking for the Vesper versions of these molecules, the 3D versions of these molecules. All right, number 12. Which of the molecules that you worked with in problems 8 through 11 is likely to dissolve well in water? And so those would be the polar molecules, so that would be number 8 and number 11. Or you could have put AsBr3 and SeCl2, which would be number 8 and number 11.
I just put AsBr3.
You didn't put number 11, so you missed 1. Now, each answer on here is worth 3 points, every answer. So the Lewis structure is worth 3 points, the shape is worth 3 points, and whether it's polar or non-polar is worth 3 points. You missed 3 points. That's one of, yep, it's one of the answers. That's how the answers get to be so low, as you count everything equally. So every answer on the test was worth 3 points. Okay? All right.